Now Honda are quite well known for being one of, if not the most reliable car manufacturer out there. But when you've got a 22-year-old car, you're always going to find some problems, aren't you? Some might be to do with reliability, and others might be to do with things that they never thought about back in the 1990s, which is when this thing was first made. And today I'm going to tackle a little bit of everything. Common faults, free modifications, and cheap upgrades. So if you've got an S2000 and you haven't done these already, then what are you waiting for? Go grab yourself a cuppa, get sat down, let's get into it. So I've got a few things that I need to do on the S2000 today, but none of them really warrant a video of their own, since they're all things that every S2000 owner should be aware of by now. But on the off chance that you haven't come across these little issues before, then let me take you through them. First off is the famous Vtec solenoid gasket failure. All you should need for this is a 13mm spanner, a pack of new gaskets, daylight and patience. But if you're like me and you run out of daylight and patience, you might end up snapping the pressure sensor and have to bodge it back together. Not gonna lie, I was actually well impressed with how I fixed this. A little bit of heat and Loctite and it's as good as new. Banging! The solenoid gasket is a really common failure point on these engines, and even if you're a little bit scared to work on your own cars, it's a super easy job to sort out yourself. Unless you break something in the process, like me of course. Whilst I was on with changing the gasket, I popped open the airbox just to make a bit more room for myself, and found that someone had already gone to the trouble of carrying out the airbox mod. Saved me a job I suppose, but it was a video that I was going to make all by itself. No need to now, I guess. The air filter needed changing though because it was absolutely pitted, so I've got a brand newie going in, it just hasn't arrived yet. Jumping inside the cab, and the rear view mirror doesn't look in the best condition, so I'd best get one of those ordered in case it fully delaminates. But in the meantime, I want to update the interior slightly and fit this new phone mount, since they didn't consider we'd be carrying these things around everywhere in 1999. Now you can't really stick a phone mount on the windscreen because you'll end up blocking your view since the windscreen's that small, and there aren't any other places to attach a universal phone mount to on the dash. Luckily, there's a company called Modrify that have came up with a solution, and it is genius. In Japan, you can buy a dash with a hole fitted for a double DIN head unit. If you don't want to spend a bucket load of money on importing one of those over, you can fit this phone mount over the exact same area where the screen would sit. All you need to do is remove a few screws from the dash, pry the plastics back over so you can access an existing screw hole, cut a small section of plastic from behind where the bracket is going to fit, which doesn't have to be neat because you're not going to be able to see it, and pop the bracket into position. Easy as. When the phone holder's attached to the bracket, it's job done, and if you're like me and you use Waze or Google Maps rather than the traditional sat-nav, it's miles better than forking out hundreds of pounds on a new dash and head unit. There were a couple of squeaks that I needed to sort out. The clips for the roof would shake a little bit at high speed, as would the passenger visor, but it's nothing that a little bit of lube can't fix. Oi oi. And the seat belts decided that they didn't want to reel in quickly anymore, so I found myself nearly closing them in the door every time I got out. Again, just needed a bit of lube. And for now, that's it. It might be 22 years old, but these things really don't take that much looking after. They are super basic, and because of that, there's not really that much that can go wrong with them. I'll list where I got the parts from in this video down in the description, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.